drag one of these chord progressions too.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Grind Fantasy NBA now a 9-game slate breakdown. Cannot wait to break down this huge NBA slate. It is still going on, guys. Actually, TJ, I want whatever chat is drinking right now. I really do. I want whatever they're drinking because they are drinking something strong tonight. If you guys, the chat in general,
the chat.
at least half the chat here.
Chad. I was like, I don't know who Chad is.
No, not Chad. The chat. If you guys actually play Herder tonight, I don't want you showing up for the stream ever again.
Well,
we're gonna give the best advice. Okay.
Reddish and Hunter are doubtful. So
all right, come on, TJ. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Okay. Guys, $9,500 for a guy that's a volume shooter. I don't care how high the pace of the game is. Do not play him.
It's obviously a misprice.
Yeah, it's a mispricing, guys. Trae Young, yes, okay. Clint Capella even is a way better option than somebody who just shoots the ball. Anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way, guys. The thumbnail this morning was a joke. Please do not take Kevin Herter tonight at $9,500. Okay, please don't do that.
All right, I'm gonna take him out of my lineup.
All right. That being said, let's go ahead and dive right into the slate. TJ, we have actually the only game with any value whatsoever in the Memphis-Portland game get canceled. It's gone.
Yeah,
it's no value.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy.
So because of that, ironically, Atlanta just had some slate-breaking injury news here. And no, it's not going to help Kevin Huerter's price tag at all with $9,500, but it's going to help some of these other guys. It does help him, yes. Are you going to try to convince me? Is this what this is turning into?
I was going to say that this would have been a fantastic spot for Huerter if he was priced appropriately at $5,500 and not $9,500. Whoever mispriced his price tag tonight, I hope you get fired, because I would have loved me some Kevin Huerter at his appropriate price tag with Reddish and Hunter on the floor. So yes, I do. Yeah. So whoever did that, whoever's fat finger misplaced that from DraftKings, I'm going to send you a strongly worded letter.
That being said, FanDuel is probably a lot better of a play, assuming they didn't misprice him, and even on Yahoo or any other fantasy website that you play. Do you want to start out with Atlanta, since they're the most obvious, I guess?
I mean,
value
we can. Yeah, we can, but like there really isn't too much of a sample size if you take off Gallinari, Dunn, Bogdy, Reddish, and Hunter. Even if you go to the last two seasons, I want to see who they plan to start. If they're going to start Snell, if they're going to start Solomon Hill at the 3, alongside Huerter and Trae Young, Capella, and Collins. So I kind of want to see who's going to be that 5th starter now, Matt, with Hunter and Reddish being off the floor.
Yep.
So yeah, there's definitely going to be some value there in Atlanta. I mean, Goodwin's going to get some increased minutes. I would assume Snell. I would assume Solomon Hill as well. Both of those guys, all 3 of those guys, are less than $3,100. So Matt, I think whoever starts there is going to be a viable cash option. But I want to wait and see if we can get a lineup, and if those minutes from Reddish and Hunter can get dispersed throughout the roster. Regardless,
though, are you paying up for anybody on this roster like Clint Capella, Trae Young, or John Collins?
Kevin Huerter, no. I would.
Let me just get him out of the player pool.
Yeah, I would consider Capella. I mean, the tear that he's been on, it's pretty evident. I just don't think John Collins and Capella are meshing well, just in terms of John Collins' production is obviously being affected by, Clint Capella being around. So if I am looking anywhere, it's going to be Capella. Trae Young at 9,300. Like I said, Matt, I just want to see where the minutes go. But I think he'd be interesting at 9,300 with these two guys being off the floor. In the small sample size that we do have, he's a 1.44 fantasy point per minute with a 36% usage rate. So
pretty good.
I think he's going to be in play, but I do think there's some better options. I think trying to find the cheap value here is going to be the ideal situation.
For sure. There's some other teams I want to bounce around until we get that Atlanta news, but I do think Atlanta is going to be the chalk team once it's all said and done, at least assuming no other injury news kind of breaks the slate. What's that?
I was going to say, I think there's going to be some ownership that gets drawn to Atlanta.
For sure. I want to bounce around, though, in the meantime. Right now, we have Orlando. I think Fournier is officially probable, or is he officially...
He's available.
He's available to play. Okay.
Yep.
So that does hurt what I did see from Vucevic, at least in the sample size I drew. I think he was averaging 1.51 fantasy points per minute. Adding Evan Fournier to that mix, I don't know if you calculated the numbers yet, shouldn't affect it drastically or anything, but I did like what I saw from Vucevic. It's going to be a pace-up spot. The best matchup we'll see without Cat, TJ. So I think that Vucevic is going to be chalky regardless of the Fournier, and he is playing. Right now he's showing a 5.8 point per dollar value on their sheet. I think that is going to be the most obvious building block spot for me. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, he's just way too cheap to not roster him, Matt. I just want to see where are you, Vooch? Here you are, you're 1.49 now. So even with Fournier being on the floor, Matt, it's not really going to affect Vucevic too much. He still gets a 1.5% usage bump with Mo Bamba, Aminu, and MCW off the floor, 1.49 fantasy point per minute, and a 28.8% usage rate. So even with Fournier being there, his fantasy point per minute only dropped from 1.52 to 1.49, and his usage went down 0.5%. So I still really like him for cash. 8,600. I have no idea why he is so cheap. Fantastic matchup. Obviously, no Cat, so he's going up against Naz Reid at Davis, what have you. Vanderbilt, if he's going to get him down low at any time during the game. So 8,600 for Vooch. I'm locking him in cash. The ownership's there. It makes total sense to me. He'll be probably I would assume he's going to be the chalkiest guy.
He should be. For now he is. I think the Atlanta guys are going to surpass him. But for a pay-up option, by far.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he should be in the mid 9K range, I personally think. So
I think
to
he should
get
be
him
higher
at
than that.
8,600 in this matchup, yeah, whatever you want to call him, he's definitely going to be fantastic for cash.
Yeah, not to mention he just came off a 48-point performance and 69.5. So, and you gotta compare the Brooklyn Nets, at least in terms of pace, to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the Timberwolves, no defense whatsoever, especially down low. An absolute smash spot for Vucevic. The only way that he doesn't hit this price tag, TJ, is if he gets in foul trouble or he just misses all of his shots, which doesn't happen. So 5.8 point per dollar. I really do like him. I think he's my favorite option on the entire slate. Aaron Gordon, is he in play for cash?
No, not for me. I think there's some better options out there. I mean, if you do land there, like I don't hate him because I do like the matchup, but at 7,400, I think there's better plays.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you.
It's just gonna be Vooch for me for cash.
Yeah, I completely agree. Evan Fournier drawing the attention, $5,200. Or you just want to move on from these guys? Got it.
Yeah, not coming back. So
I do like this. I do like the ceiling potential, however, for Orlando because they are in a pace-up spot, obviously playing Minnesota. So if you guys want to go this direction and GPPs, I don't mind it. The ownership on Aaron Gordon is showing borderline cash GPP, but like I said, that's just going to drop once the Atlanta stuff does come out. All right, let's go onward to Phoenix because I want to talk about an obvious value play there. It was funny because it was obvious. It was obvious in my video, and I'm glad that the ownership kind of agreed with it because you can get $3,900 Cameron Johnson playing 26 minutes right now, a 6.2 point per dollar value, averages just about I think just under a fantasy point per minute. I think yes. Right now he's the second highest owned on the slate. What are your thoughts there with Cameron Johnson?
Yeah, so I mean, last time we went on the Cameron Johnson train, he kind of let me down a little bit. He's not very dependent, but he's a very good 3-point shooter. So if he can knock down some shots, he can really pay off this price tag pretty quickly. Saric off the floor, so that means more minutes for Cameron Johnson. That's why he's projected at 25, 26. So at 3,900, Matt, yes, carrying some ownership and a good matchup against Houston. He looks really good for cash, especially on a slate where we kind of lost a lot of that value between the Memphis Portland Trailblazers game. So he's a 0.89 fantasy point per minute. He gets a little bit of a usage bump with Saric off the floor, 20.4% total usage rate. I have him pegged for 22.3 DraftKings points right now. So I do like him as a salary saver tonight at 3,900. So yeah, Cam Johnson for me, I think he is a viable cash play.
Completely agree with you. I think because we're lacking some value as of right now, especially in the small forward position, I think he's going to slide right into that small forward position. $3,900. Do you like anybody else on this roster for cash?
I do not.
Okay. It's a very bad Houston team. So again, I feel like you can go this direction and GPPs. I think a lot of these guys do have some ceiling potential. Horrible defensively, at least Houston is right now. Of course, with the addition of Oladipo, that can only help them, but they're still a very bad defensive team. Let's go ahead down the list.
Aiden is really cheap. I just want to say that. 7K. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know about Phoenix lately.
Anthony Edwards is showing some ownership. Do you have any interest in him?
Yeah.
I don't really.
So, I tried to check out the popcorn machine, and it's glitching again. It says that they had 7 guys on the floor at one point. So I tried to get kind of a feel as to where Anthony Edwards, he played 30 minutes last game against Atlanta. He is very cheap. He should see some minutes. I don't know if he's going to play around 30. But if he does get there at 4,500, I guess I don't hate him. Obviously, Rubio's out. Hernan Gomez is out as well. They did play relatively smaller against Atlanta. I think that's going to be a little tougher for them to do against Orlando with Vooch and Aaron Gordon. But yeah, I mean, if they're going to have times where they have Anthony Edwards, D'Lo, and Malik Beasley all on the floor together with like Vanderbilt and Naz Reid, then if the minutes are going to be there, like he is a decent cheap option at 4,500. I would rather go to Vanderbilt at 4,900. I think he shows a little bit of a better play, Matt. He's a 1.07 fantasy point per minute with Rubio, Cat, and Hernan Gomez off the floor this year in a pretty healthy sample size as well. So I favor Vanderbilt over Anthony Edwards, but if you are looking for some salary saver, I don't hate the play. But I'd rather go to Cameron Johnson as a cheaper play, and I'd rather go to Vanderbilt here on Minnesota.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Atlanta has 3 guys. Rajon Rondo got a good one, and also Solomon Hill that should get an increase in minutes here. They're definitely going to be chalk. I can tell you guys right now. Right now the minutes are updated, but they're updated incorrectly. Clint Capella's playing 45 minutes. Same thing with Trae Young.
So that's accurate. I think Capella would play 45.
I mean, he could. Yeah, if that was a possibility, he definitely could.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think Atlanta's going to be chalk. We don't have the updated minutes, but once we get those, we're going to calculate. We're going to run our projections here real quick for you guys. I guess it's about where do you go after that. I think you can get some solid value out of the San Antonio Golden State game as well. There's a lot of guys in that game that intrigue me. Like, for instance, Draymond Green, $5,400. He keeps bouncing around that 5 to 6K range, and right now he's on the uptick at $5,400. Whenever they're in very competitive games, which they should be against San Antonio, I like him for value. Also, we have to monitor TJ Andrew Wiggins. If he's held out, massive boost, not massive, but a good amount of boost to Oubre. Both Curry and Draymond Green. I think all those guys are viable for cash, honestly, just with the pace of this game at a 228. But again, we won't get that till after luck. Do you advise waiting on his news? Do you think it plays that much of a factor?
I think, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Miles Turner going through extensive pregame warmups Wednesday. Okay, because I think there's some really good value in Indiana if Miles Turner sit, Matt. And then I think he should play. No, he remains questionable.
Okay.
So he's still very questionable. So if he sits, I think there's some really good value in Indiana. Another thing we have to keep an eye on is going to be Tyler Hero for Miami. He's still currently questionable as well. So hopefully we can get that news before the slate starts. So I don't think you necessarily build your lineups hoping a guy like Wiggins is out. Like, yeah, if he does sit, it will open up some good value, Matt, for some of these guys, like you mentioned, like Kelly Oubre, Draymond Green. They're cheap enough where I think, they become cash viable. A guy like Pascal could find his way into the starting lineup unless they go with like a Damian Lee. So yeah, if Wiggins is out and Damian Lee gets to start, I love him at 3,400 for value. So it is something we want to keep an eye on. If you want to try and build around it, I guess you can keep a few pieces open, especially because we'll probably get that news before that Suns and Houston game tips off. So that gives you a little bit to work with because you'll have 3 games that have yet to tip off. I don't know if I would like completely build my cash lineup around Andrew Wiggins sitting or not. But if you want to do it for tournaments or you want to keep maybe 2 spots open where you have some sort of pivot in mind, if he does sit to a guy like Damian Lee or Pascal or Oubre or Draymond, I don't hate it.
I completely agree with you. I think a good, safe option, regardless of whether Andrew Wiggins sits or not, is Draymond Green. And if he is rolled out, that's just an additional bonus, I'd say. Playing against the Spurs, they're the second highest over-under on the entire slate. So I think this is a good team to target. I think Steph is still a viable GPP option regardless. But again, like I said, if Andrew Wiggins is held out, I love those top 3 options here on my screen in terms of ownership. All right. Do you want to talk about Indiana or do you want to move to Miami?
Yeah, let's go to, let's go to Miami.
Sure.
And we'll wait because I want to see if Turner's in or not because I that's where I got some real interest if Turner sits. It kind of stinks that Lamb's going to be back tonight too, but he'll play limited minutes, so I don't think he really affects anything.
I personally love Goran Dragic tonight. I really do. He's probable, and if Tyler Hero sits, I feel like he's going to get all the usage tonight. Projected at 29 minutes right now. This guy is going to be a great GPP option. I don't know if he's cash viable, but I can tell you right now, if Tyler Hero sits, I'm deploying Goran Dragic in all formats. What are your thoughts on Dragic?
Yeah, no, I don't hate that. For me, it would just be if he does start. I think that's pretty big for me when it comes to Dragic. But if he's going to see 30 minutes off the bench, as long as he can get that 30-minute floor, Toronto, I like him. Yeah, it's a tougher matchup against Toronto. But again, it's all dependent on whether or not Hero can play or not. So that's something we have to keep an eye on with that neck injury.
He's still a decent play regardless. But yeah, if Hero does sit, I think he's deployable in cash formats as well. Bam Adebayo, also not that bad. I talked about this on the video. It seems like whenever Butler doesn't play, he's a usage monster, which makes no sense. 1.51 fantasy points per minute, TJ, I think, without Jimmy Butler on the court. So I do like that matchup going against Boucher. If he does start, that still has yet to be determined. It's a big question mark with him. They have Aaron Baines projected to start right now. Who?
Trae Young. Yeah, Toronto's been deploying Baines, but I mean Boucher gets the minutes.
Is it Tyler Hero's birthday? I did not know that, so no.
So he's out partying right now, so he's not playing tonight.
I hope not. All right.
Tyler Hero ruled out. Dragic available to play.
Look at that, right on cue. Right on cue.
So
I do like Dragic. Let's go ahead and compute those numbers.
Yeah, let's do it. DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, our game time decisions Wednesday remain doubtful.
Okay. They're not going to play.
Why did I hit the Pistons? Yeah, I don't think they play either. So Tyler Hero is out. So he's going to go party with Katila. What's her name? I forget her name. Kayla?
Is that his girlfriend?
Yep. His ID girlfriend, yeah. Yep.
Jimmy
Let's
Butler.
see. So we got to take off Jimmy. Yep, we got to take off Jimmy.
I just see in the corner of my eye the chat spamming it. It's amazing.
Love you guys. So it's Jimmy, Hero, Butler.
Yeah, so like
Bradley.
Bam Adebayo is apparently a beast with all these guys off the court.
Yeah, I mean he flourishes, man.
And
I talked about. I'm pretty sure I mentioned him on the stream last time they were playing because he was
Didn't
very
you get
underowned.
bundled?
No, he dominated.
There
He
was
went for
one slate where
53
he
drafts.
just sucked for you. It was a slate where you shouldn't have played
That
him,
was
though,
the,
right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the slate where that was the biggest single entry I did all year, and I played Bam as the last piece, and he had 4 fouls in the first half.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? What is happening here?
I think
I
Dragic
can't
could
focus
play
moving.
32 minutes. Let's pin him at 32.
I don't know.
92.
Do 30. Do 30.
Dude,
Do 30 to be safe. He's not gonna play 32.
who are they going to play? Kendrick Nunn?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they will play Kendrick Nunn.
I'm sticking with 32. I'm sticking with my guns.
Okay. All right. Stick with your guns. Big
Has he
guns.
played 32? Yeah, he hasn't. Yeah, he played 33 last game. That was a blowout. No,
All right.
it wasn't. He's a beast.
He
He's
would
the
not
best
play
player in the
33
NBA.
in a blowout. Okay.
All right, so Dragic, for me, I honestly really do like Dragic. If his ownership does stay low, I like him more for GPPs. But again, I'm comfortable with playing him in all formats. There's another player I actually want to talk about later on in terms of GPP because I think he's that obvious of a play. I mentioned him in my video, but I'll talk about him here in just a second after we're done the Miami Heat.
So Vincent's good to play as well. I wonder if they start him. He's back down to 3,500.
Yeah, so Bam Adebayo is a 53.38. Oh, not 45,000. What is going on?
Yeah, so I love Bam at that price
I can't
tag.
type.
That's way too cheap with all these guys being off the floor. So
Well, here's the thing: if you're starting Vooch, you're gonna have to play both of them in the util spot. That's gonna limit you.
I'd be comfortable with that though.
Okay.
On a slate where
I
there's
like
a
it.
lot of value.
No, I like both the plays.
Give me the team where they're missing a
Well,
bunch
do
of
you
studs.
know what?
What, Matt?
They're literally the exact same price tag. So talk about a pivot play. If you guys don't want to play Vooch, not saying it's not a good option, but Adebayo is a great pivot. Great pivot in terms
Matt,
of ownership.
if they start Dragic, then yeah, I like him for cash. If they start Vincent, I really like Vincent for cash at 3,500. So hypothetically,
Dragic
if
regardless,
Vincent
man.
plays, no, I do too. But if Vincent plays hypothetically, let's call it. Okay, it's only a 55-minute sample size, but that's not the worst.
Sinno's giving away my GPP plays.
All right.
Sorry, guys, we're just computing. We're waiting to give you a final look here. And we have to wait for the minutes to adjust as well. So Tyler Hero is projected at 33, so that minute boost is going to go to Vincent, like you said. He's a
It'll
game
go to
time decision
Vincent.
too.
No,
he's probable.
good to
Okay.
go. It'll go to Vincent. It'll go to Nunn.
Yeah. Both suck.
Yes, they're both not very good. All right, let's go back to Miami when they disperse the minutes.
Okay. Do you want to go to Atlanta and see what they're looking like now?
Do they have any updated for Atlanta?
Question.
Yes, they do. Solomon Hill 26, Goodwin 6,
Yep,
Goodwin
they do.
19, Tony Snell 18,
Oh, yeah.
Rondo 14. Yeah, so
It's just Solomon Hill that's getting the minute boost here.
yeah, well, I'd assume he starts, but I kind of have. I mean, if Goodwin plays 20 minutes, then at 3,100.
Okay, well then let me look here.
Oh, I'm so stupid. I
know. You don't have to keep talking.
Okay. Gallinari, Bogdy, Chris Dunn, Herter, and Hunter. Where are you, Hunter? And I'm gonna do the last 2 years.
This is what happened when injury news comes out on stream.
Yep.
Just to let you guys know, this is what we do behind the scenes. Exactly what we're doing right now.
3,100. He plays 19
Done.
minutes. We'll call it 18 to be safe.
If we have more than 200 viewers after we're done computing numbers,
So I would
I'd
have
be
Goodwin
amazed.
at 17 DraftKings points. So I wouldn't necessarily love him. The Herter would be so good if he wasn't. Like, why do you have to screw up his price tag tonight of all nights
yeah,
where all these guys are out?
yeah,
It's crazy.
it's kind of funny because now my thumbnail's kind of relevant, even though it's not.
Now
still.
people might actually believe you.
Now
when you
people might
have-
actually play
they're gonna
him.
be like, wow. So hold on. Matt thinks, okay, I'm gonna play him. I'm gonna deploy him.
So Trae
Solomon
Young's
Hill's
a good play.
0.5. Yep, I would assume that.
Yeah.
So Herder,
But like actually this time.
right? He's not just like a fake good play. He's a good play.
You're right.
Why can't I find
right.
Herder on my?
Don't know what that
Did I
meant,
take
but
him
yeah,
off?
you're right.
Oh no, I'm so stupid.
Goodwin, 22. They're just waiting for everybody. Look, dude, our numbers are going up with us just looking at the calculator. That's amazing. Okay, so Goodwin. All right, I have a stance.
He's not cash viable.
He's not. I thought he would be.
No.
Yeah.
He would be more cash viable if Trae Young was out, opposed to
Right.
Reddish and Hunter, because they still have Herder and they still have Trae Young. So those guys are going to see a bulk of the minutes. Goodwin will back up Trae and then potentially be in there alongside Trae. And then Herder needs a breather. But Herder's going to play the most minutes. See, and that's what stinks, is that they messed up his price tag tonight. Where's John Collins? I am absolutely, I almost just said the F word. I am absolutely blind. Flipping blind. All right, so Herder's a 0.78. So
okay,
bad.
so I mean Solomon Hill is not bad, but he's still not like a great value.
Right, yeah. When you were saying all the what's it called was going to go.
Yeah, I thought. Well, I honestly thought Goodwin would play closer to like 28 minutes.
But
no, they still have the best player in the NBA, Kevin Herter, playing 38. So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that answers that. So now we're scrambling for some value, some more. Now, luckily, we can't go to Miami.
The value.
You really
Miami's
like Indiana.
there too.
Okay, well, let's take a second.
I really
well, Miles
like
Turner's still a game time decision.
Right. Okay, so we'll leave it. We'll leave it on the back.
Miami's going to be the value right now. Let's wait for those minutes to update.
Okay.
All right, this is more interactive than normal stream, so that's good, guys. You guys are getting the full picture. So I guess, TJ, do you want to jump right into GPP options? I know we're getting close to, well, it's past 6 now, so I think we really should speed up the stream. Go into some GPP
Can I do a quick ramble?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So I want to talk about spend ups for cash, Matt. I was looking at a guy like Luka at 10.7. I still think that price tag with all those guys is still far too cheap.
Yep.
Unless they do start Brunson again. As you know, in the Discord, I said I was off of Luka when Brunson was starting. So I kind of want to see if they do deploy a Brunson-Luka backcourt.
Okay.
It was a tough matchup for him against Toronto, so I think it's a little bit better against Indiana. Yeah, he'll get he'll have Brogdon on him, but or Justin Holiday, whoever they deploy. But I kind of like Luka as a spend up at 10.7. I obviously want to stay away from Harden, KD, and Kyrie because I want to watch that absolute disaster tonight. I hope they lose to Cleveland so bad, and Kyrie is just a puddle. Yeah. I think Sabonis is great if Miles Turner is out. I even think if Miles Turner is in, like, I think Sabonis is decent at 9,800, and he has power forward / center eligibility. So if you're thinking about Vooch, if you're thinking about Bam, if you're thinking about Capella, you can still get 2 of those guys if you want, and you still have Sabonis there. You talked about Curry. I like that.
Yep.
Embiid at 9,600. Like, I don't really like that price tag for him, but it is a decent matchup against the Celtics. We do have Tristan Thompson now, so a little bit better defensively. And yeah, for value for cash, we'll wait for Miami, Matt. We'll wait. Atlanta, there really isn't anything too crazy, but I do have some interest in some of these cheaper Indiana guys if Miles Turner is out.
Awesome. You didn't mention any of my GPP plays, so let me go now. Let's take a look.
Shake Milton.
No, let's take a look at Houston. Right.
Okay, well, I like Milton.
One thing we mentioned last time, TJ, is the fact that Oladipo had all this usage going to. What is going on? That Oladipo had all this usage going to him because James Harden was gone. We thought he would get a similar usage. What is going on? Yo, I hear myself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it died. Got it. Okay.
Back.
Oh, you're back. Okay. Oladipo had all this usage for the third time. Coming from John Wall and James Harden, I did not know he was going to get a 45% usage. So this is by far my favorite GPP play. Until Oladipo reaches that 9K price tag, 9K plus, I still think he's very viable. And a pace, I guess you could call it an average spot against Phoenix, I still really do like him. Again, his usage rate was 45%. Not saying it's going to be that again. $7,800 for a guy that has the bulk of this usage is just crazy. If you don't like him, go to Christian Wood. One of those two is going to absolutely smash tonight. They have to keep it competitive. 13.9%, and Oladipo is also 12.5%. We saw what Oladipo did in his first game. Another person I really like is DeMar DeRozan, with pretty much a lot of these bench players randomly being ruled out for the San Antonio Spurs. In the pace-up spot, I just think DeMar DeRozan's in a great spot, pace-up spot, and he's slightly overpriced, so I do like him showing 3.9% ownership. Those are by far my favorite two GPP plays. We didn't even talk about the Clippers. The Clippers are also playing the defensive-less Sacramento Kings. Paul George or Kawhi Leonard should have a ceiling game tonight, and they're both showing under 8% ownership. Those are by far my favorite GPP options.
I like it. Yeah, I agree with you on Christian Wood and Oladipo. I really like both of them, and they're showing some lower ownership.
Yeah.
I honestly thought they were going to be cash viable, but a lot of that center ownership is going to a guy like Vooch. Another guy, Tobias Harris, shows pretty well with all those guys off the floor. Well, with Seth Curry still off the floor, Matt, and Mike Scott, he gets a 2.9% usage bump, and he's a 1.21 fantasy point per minute. I haven't pegged at 43.6 DraftKings points.
Sorry, who are you talking about right now?
Tobias Harris.
Okay.
And then Shake Shack as well. I kind of don't hate those guys for cash, but they're not really carrying the ownership, so I don't think they're a necessary Ackerman DB. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it is a tough matchup against the Celtics.
We just got ownership updates, TJ. So, like we thought, or like I thought, Dragic is going to be cash viable. He's going to be deployable in all formats. 27.1% ownership. Clint Capella jumped up the chart, 21.5%. I think that's not really that surprising. However, he's going to be a very obvious center option. So, Adebayo is going to be a great GPP option. Brandon Goodwin, 20.3%, also cash viable, TJ. So that might be bad chalk. What do you think about that?
No, I don't hate it. I mean, he's very cheap. If he's going to play 20 minutes, then I think he is viable. Is Kendrick Nunn? Did he pop up here?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's 14.7% owned on Fantasy Country right now.
Yep.
He played 30 minutes last game with all these guys being off the floor. So
Okay.
If he's going to play 30-plus minutes again, I think he's cash viable at his price tag.
Yeah. It's just tough for me to see a ceiling game in this matchup. That's the only thing. Like, regardless of if they play, it sucks.
He's very cheap, and he kind of took those minutes away from Kendrick Nunn. From Vincent last game against Detroit. So I would see that trend continuing. So has played 27 and 34 minutes in his last two games. So yeah, at 4K, if he's currently projected at 31 minutes, I do like Kendrick Nunn for cash. Yeah. And guess who just made him a core play?
Your boy.
Means.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's go on the questions, CJ. It's getting pretty late. I think we have a good idea. We're just waiting for some minutes, right, from Indiana. We're waiting for their picture to kind of shake out, right?
Yeah, so Miles Turner, that's obviously the big news, Matt. If he's out, I do like Sabonis at 9,800. He'll get a 4.1% usage bump with Turner, Oladipo obviously gone, and Warren off the floor. 1.42 fantasy point per minute, and the highest usage rate on the team at 29%.
Mm-hmm.
I think Justin Holiday is viable at 4,900. He gets a 4.2% usage bump. He'll probably play like 35 minutes, a 0.88 fantasy point per minute. A guy like Sumner, I would have had interest in, but now with Jeremy Lamb being there, I think that kind of dinks his minutes down. So I'm no longer on a guy like him, but TJ McConnell at 3,800, I wouldn't hate him. More of a tournament play. So yeah, if Miles Turner is out, I would like Sabonis and I would like Justin Holiday.
Yeah, you're really on these Indiana guys, and I don't blame you. I like Miami.
Got Oladipo. Yeah, I mean, you got Oladipo off, you have Miles Turner, and you have Warren. Like that's three pretty significant guys. It's three starters that are gone. So I think there's some good value there still.
I also do think, even though I like all the plays that you just talked about, I do think the first games you do have to have limited exposure to, just because these back games, I mean, you're looking at a 228 over-under, you're looking at a 230 over-under. Those are significantly higher than any other game. I do think you have to have some pieces, at least in tournaments, TJ, to take down some of these tournaments. I think some of these guys are going to have some really good ceiling games. Golden State is in a great spot, like I said, with Draymond Green. And again, if the Andrew Wiggins news does affect them, Curry, another crazy ceiling night, we could definitely see it. And then the Clippers, man, they're 10-point favorites. If they can keep this close with Sacramento somehow, or if Sacramento can keep it close with the Clippers somehow, 230 is just really, really crazy for me. So I want some exposure to those in tournaments at least. Questions.
Questions.
Yep. It's funny because the first question was, let me scroll down. I think he deleted it. And Miles Turner out as soon as I look at the questions.
Miles Turner is out. Bring me Indiana.
Here we go.
Okay, so I already have numbers with Turner out.
Can you read them to me to make my life easy?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Just the totals.
Yep. So Sabonis would be so this is with minutes not really being too updated. I don't think
36.
Sabonis would play more than 30. I have Sabonis at 38 with Turner's out.
Okay.
56.17.
Okay.
I would have Brogdon at 42.7.
Okay.
Justin Holiday at 30.26.
This is literally what we do on the call after lock, guys. Just FYI. Go ahead.
Dougie at 24.9.
Okay.
Sumner and the rest I'm not interested in.
Yeah.
McConnell, I want to see if McConnell's minutes.
Sumner, how many minutes do you think he's going to get?
Like 20-ish.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I don't know what they're going to do with Lamb. They have Lamb at 12 right now.
So you like Justin Holiday?
I do like Justin Holiday if you're landing on him in cash with Miles Turner out. Yep, I think he would become viable for me.
Yeah.
He's going to play a lot of minutes. So
he's going to play a lot of minutes, and every single time he's played a lot of minutes, he's actually had value. So I don't mind him.
It's pretty efficient. McConnell, Matt, I think is a decent pump play or a good tournament play. I'd have him at 21.9 at 3,800. Wouldn't really be affected by Lamb in his minutes. It would just be more of Sumner that I think would get affected.
Okay. All right, well, that was quick. Let's go ahead and move on to questions. I have way too many questions. Okay, Miles Turner is out. Yes, thank you. I probably know the answer now. I was going to say Sabonis is almost a clear lock in cash and GPP. Never a lock in GPP. That's not a thing. Do you consider him a lock in cash, DJ?
Sabonis?
The fact that he plays power forward makes it so much better.
Yeah, it's huge. It's awesome as a spend up. So I like him and Luka as good spend up spots tonight for cash. I think his ownership percentage is going to come up a little bit. He's currently pegged on Roto at 16.5%. I still would rather lock in Vooch at center over Sabonis. That's kind of where I'm at. And I think I would prioritize him second, him or Luka, one of the two.
Okay.
It's going to be tough to get all three with Vooch in there.
And that's actually all the questions I got for you. So
okay. Eric Gordon showing some ownership too, Matt. I think he played pretty well alongside Oladipo, and I don't hate him at 5,500 either. He's going to see some minutes, and he's going to chuck up shots.
I think Houston is a new team. Not saying they're better, but they definitely look a lot different with Oladipo there.
Yeah. Oladipo, 44% ownership. All right, let's see. Trae Young available to play up. You'll have to pay to play Tony Snelson said. Is Jeremy Lamb a play at 4,500? No. Or 3,500? No. Not with his restriction.
Yep.
Is Herter a good FanDuel play at 5,500?
Yes.
I would say yes with all these guys being out. Yep. Herter better than Trae Young. Changed my mind. DK knows something that we don't, Anthony said. I like that, Anthony. Amanda texted me. I thought she said Snell predicted at 26 minutes. He sucks. Yes, Matthew. He does suck. Sterling Brown will be available tonight. Thank you, Joe. Trae Young or Bam? Bam. I would say Bam. But I mean, you can get both unless you're talking about util. And if you're talking about util, there's a $700 price discrepancy. So I think you're talking FanDuel. I would say Bam, Matt, but I like both. So
I do like both a lot.
You can get both. Lowry or Van Vliet. I always go with whoever's cheaper between those two. I know that's not really the ideal thing. Yeah, Lowry's $100 more. Lowry's been playing a lot better than Van Vliet as of late. So I kind of like Lowry a little bit.
Their roster's so fun because like they're all the same price and they all do the exact same thing. At least fantasy point per minute wise. You don't know who to pick.
Is Lowry for safety? Look at his stats. He hasn't been. Yeah, DJ. No, I don't hate him. I just don't know if I'd get him in cash. He's not showing too high ownership tonight.
I have a couple questions here. Did I hear Draymond Green cash viable? I don't mind him as a last spot. I think he's more GPP right now with some tremendous upside, especially if Andrew Wiggins does not play. Thoughts on Jeff Green and a possible blowout from the Nets? I repeat, do not bank on potential blowouts unless it's like 20 plus points. Please don't do that. Definitely a GPP flyer. If you really do want to do that, make that your only spot where you get different. Is Cameron Johnson a good play at 3.9 and better for GPP or cash? I think that's what you meant. He's definitely going to be cash viable. And yes, he's a good value play. Go ahead, TJ.
Someone asked my favorite tourney play. It was probably going to be Capella, but now I think his ownership's going to get bumped up a little bit. So if Bam is going to show low ownership, I really like Bam. I like Tobias Harris. And then honestly, Matt, I know it doesn't seem smart, but if Cleveland can stay competitive with Brooklyn, I don't think Kyrie coming back really affects KD too much. I think him and Harden are going to kind of bicker about who has the ball in their hands. So like KD at 10-5 showing 2% ownership, like I would take a chance on him in tournaments.
I hope Kyrie gets no usage tonight.
I do too. He's a baby and he's a pain.
Yeah, I know what you meant to say, but yeah, go ahead.
James Harden, Olive Garden. I beg your pardon. Lakers in 5. Okay. Jeremy Grant. Yeah, we like him for tournaments. He always pops on the. What?
What'd you say? Was
like
that something somebody
Someone said that? Yeah, 937 said James Harden, Olive Garden. I beg your pardon. Lakers in 5.
What?
I like that. Lakers in 4. Honestly. Matt Grant, 35 minutes, even at 7,700. He's a 1.23 fantasy point per minute, 27.2% usage rate, second highest on the team besides Derrick Rose.
Yeah, I like him.
do like Grant at 7,700.
I do.
Turner out. Thank you guys. Is Goga a play? No. Nope. He doesn't see minutes, even with Turner being off. Would you prioritize Grant or Sabonis? Not in cash. If anything, I would say Sabonis. What do we have Sabonis? Has that been updated, Matt? Do you have an updated for the Pacers?
For
ownership?
what? I don't think it's updated. Let's see.
Roto's
Sabonis is 14.3.
Okay. Roto's top 4 owned players now are Dragic, Nunn, Capella, and Vooch.
That sounds about right. Nunn's up. Nunn's creeping up there. He's not cash viable yet.
You don't think Nunn's cash viable?
I do. I have to see. I haven't messed with the lineups yet, but I don't know. I think he's borderline. We just got a $5 donation, by the way.
Oh, thank you, whoever gave that. Thank you, Green Wizard.
No.
No. Green Wizard, take your $5 back. That game is postponed.
Yep, postponed, man.
Give him his money back. Bam or Sabonis? Sabonis. I like Bam too, though. They're both good. They're both good plays. I mean, that's tough to choose. Sabonis, Wood, or Vooch. That's Vooch for me, but like that's impossible. They're all all
great.
They're all very good tonight. Honestly, Sabonis, Wood, and Vooch are all very good. I think Vooch would be my favorite still. I don't know if I can go Bam after he shafted TJ a couple weeks ago and didn't even buy him dinner first. Yeah, I mean, at least if you're gonna do that, at least take me out to dinner first.
Oh, chat's great.
Do you guys like Pat Beverly in tournaments? If Lou Will is out, sure, you can run it
for sure.
Bam/Vooch or Vooch/Cap. DK single entry GPP.
We're getting a lot of core questions, by the way, TJ. I don't know if you want to stop and do that real quick.
Sure. I would say Vooch and Capella, I think, for cash. So Matt,
you're gonna ask me, all right?
No, I can tell you who my core is gonna be. The chalk plays on Roto, unfortunately. Like those are the guys that I'm looking at. Like Dragic, you talked about him. If he does start 5,700, fantastic play. I think Kendrick Nunn is 100% a cash play.
Okay.
I like Capella. I like Vooch. I like Sabonis. I still really like Jared Vanderbilt. I still think Cam Johnson is in play if you want to go there. I don't hate Eric Gordon as a last piece at 5,500. You talked about Wood and Oladipo, more of tournament plays, but I think they're really good value. So if I had to give a specific core, it would be Dragic, Nunn, Vooch, and then I would probably say, man, Bam's up there too in terms of ownership. I like all 3 of those guys. I wish you could play Capella, Vooch, and Bam tonight. I think the safer is probably going to be Vooch and Capella. So I would say it's Dragic, Nunn, Capella, and Vooch if you're looking for cash for a core.
I was literally agreeing with everything you just said, but replace Nunn with Cameron Johnson for me. I just like the matchup more against Houston.
What about minutes though, Matt?
Yeah, well,
Nunn's gonna play 30.
Well, right now they don't have projected that high. Right now they have him at the exact same. So.
I'm gonna tell you he'll play 32 minutes.
No, because Dragic's gonna play 35. So.
Okay, Nunn's still going to play. I bet you, I will make a bet, guys, on stream with Matt right now that Kendrick Nunn.
I'm not saying he's not.
North of 32 minutes tonight.
I'm saying I like the matchup, and if there's any question, all right, you know what? You can throw Nunn in there too. Well, there's 5. There's 5 guys. There's 5 cash core locks right there. I think Cameron Johnson's pretty safe though. I just like his matchup a lot more. That's all.
It is a good matchup. If he starts too, I agree with you though at 3,900. I don't know what Chips is barking at.
Yeah, I mean he's been very consistent.
Matt, if Solomon Hill starts at 3,100, I don't hate him as a cheap option. He doesn't, he doesn't pop on the cheap. But
did you know that big GPP I took down last season? I had Damian Lillard and Solomon Hill was in there too. He really was because it wasn't New Orleans that he played for last season, was it? Yeah, it was them then because they had everybody out, and that's why I had them, and nobody was on them.
I remember that game.
Yep. All right, I think that's it for the cash core. Now we're gonna start losing some guys because that's all they wanted to hear. That's fine for all you dedicated guys.
We just gave them a lineup basically. Matt, so let me ask you this:
What?
If you have to go between Vooch, Capella, and Bam, where are you going?
I'm going Vooch. I think he's the safest option.
Yep, I think Vooch is the safer option. But who would be your second guy?
I like Sabonis.
Well, you can play Sabonis
forward. Yeah, I would play three centers and then consider Sabonis. Capella, man, he's gonna be chalky. In GPPs, I really do like Adebayo. I think you take a stab at him. I would probably pull the trigger if I had to, because there's a lot of guard value tonight, and I think it allows you to get Adebayo in that util spot.
I kind of like. I don't know. It's very tough. Yeah, no, I think you have to have Vooch too. I think I would go Capella. I think he has an easier matchup going up against Plumlee.
Yeah.
Than Bam does going up against Boucher. I think Boucher can stay, step to step with Bam. He's very athletic, and as is Bam.
He is good.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think I lean Capella over Bam, but I think Bam in tournaments for sure.
For That's value tough. Anyway, because they're not the same price tag.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're bogging down your util and your center with all centers, then you have to make a decision between the two.
Do you know one player that sticks out to me, and it's going to be very contrarian tonight, especially with all this guard value, is Trae Young. I really do like Trae Young. I keep looking at him too. He's going to have a lot of usage tonight.
Drummond's 1% owned. Against DJ, against DeAndre Jordan. So I think that's a good pivot in tournaments, honestly.
All right. Green Wizards sent another $5 donation. It looks like a right question this time. 3 players to start my GPP late from work, no time, please. For GPP, you got to start your core with the cash core that we just talked about. Cameron Johnson, I would start with. Vooch. Actually, you know what? Let's go with the people that we agree with. TJ, Vooch, Dragic, and who was the last one that we agreed on?
Kendrick Nunn.
That's not who it was. There's one more.
Capella.
Capella, that's who it was. All right. Vooch, Dragic, and Capella.
All right, let's get to some of these questions, Matt. Rose or Draymond Green final piece? I would say Draymond. Even with
high pace game.
Even with or without Wiggins. Boucher and John Collins or Sabonis and James Johnson. Ooh, I kind of like Boucher and James and John Collins, honestly. No, I hate John Collins, man.
You hate him so much.
Yeah,
this is the one game where he could do well, though.
I'd probably say Sabonis. I really don't hate James Johnson with all those guys out, honestly. So I'd probably say Sabonis and James Johnson. Matt, we got a lineup here. I know we've skipped a lot of questions, guys. Sorry, there's a lot going on. Dragic, Justin Holiday, Cam Johnson, Sabonis, Vooch, Nunn, Eric Gordon, and Capella. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. I might take that. No, I'm just kidding, but I might. Thoughts on Devin Booker in the future? I don't know, man.
Great. Looks like I did the band hammer on some people here.
Hasn't really been. Oh, what happened?
Don't worry about it. Afraid of the
My Hawks get the dub tonight. Trey going for 60. Yeah, Matt, I could see that. Blake, or no, who said that? PJ said, what about DeAndre Jordan? Value the center. Yeah, no, I don't hate him as a value play. He's been really good for them at the 5. So no, took care of it?
Yep.
Fave mid-range value plays. Fave
mid-range. Oladipo, does he count?
Yeah, I think I would consider him at 7,800. A little bit below that, though. Yeah, Capella. I think I don't hate Boucher, honestly, at 7,300. I like Tobias Harris at 7,200. Yeah. Who else? Some cheaper plays. Like I don't hate Oubre. I don't hate Eric Gordon, both at 5,500. Someone just mentioned
Draymond.
DJ. I guess I don't hate him at 55. Yeah, Draymond at 54.
All of them.
Yeah, there's some really decent ones.
Don't ever mention Devin Booker.
Let's see. I want a late night hammer. DJS says, who is both cash and single entry small GPP viable? I think all those guys we gave for our core are honestly both.
Yeah, we've said a lot of names over and over again, guys. You can literally make a player pool with the players that we mentioned, and I think you're looking pretty good.
Sano said, don't ever mention Devin Booker. I don't know, man. Aiden is so cheap. Aiden is very cheap. He's 7K.
Aiden's always so cheap, and he's always so intriguing. Another player we didn't talk about, TJ. What's up?
Who?
DeAndre Jordan. He played 38 minutes last game, and he's their only true center.
We just talked about him.
Did we? I wasn't listening. I was too worried about the.
I literally. Okay. This is what I deal with. No, I'm kidding. Brunson or none? I say none.
Do you know one player we didn't talk about?
Who?
DeAndre Jordan. Like 38 minutes last game. All right, do you want to get off?
Yeah, Mike. So Reddish and DeAndre Hunter are both doubtful. So take that. Is Lucas still cash viable? I think he is. I just don't know if you need to get up to him. Honestly, I think his ownership percentage is going to fall by the wayside a little bit. But yeah, I think he's viable. Yeah, let's get off because Amanda just brought home seafood and I'm going to throw up. I don't want to do it on stream.
All right. Well, with that being said, guys, we will see you in the Patreon Discord. I will be updating the cheat sheet with all of our favorite plays. I know it just changed a lot, so I'm going to spend some time here. And with all that being said, have a great rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's cash.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.